starting lineup figures, the collection I have of them. A few of these are, three of these are ones I had when I was younger. The rest I picked up recently. I did own like one other of these when I was younger. The rest I picked up now. If you're my age, a little older, younger, you probably had some starting lineups at some point. They came out in '88. Football, basketball, and baseball. Hockey came out in '93. Most of them were done by like 2000. Like all four of the sets. Some ended earlier than others. But within like a 3-year span, they kind of disappeared. Who made these freaking things? Kenner? It might have sold to somebody else at some point, but they tried to do different things, and then I think people lost interest, and then McFarlane figures started coming out, and those were like big, cool looking figures. They were just pricier. Well, when these came out originally, they were like $7-8 a figure, which back then was expensive for that kind of thing. But I'll show the ones that I'm going to eventually open the other ones I have, but I just haven't yet. I'll show those ones last, though. I guess I'll go by sport. I'll start with basketball here. Isaiah Thomas. This is the one I found in the garage back when I was cleaning out the garage back in 21 in Massapequa. The dumpster was getting the stuff in the dumpster, and I found this in a cabinet. I was hoping there was more, but this is an '88 Isaiah Thomas. For the time, these were cool. Like, I still think they are. Like I said, they're pretty cheap to get to. You can find expensive ones, especially from the '88 set, because they made a ton out of the gate. Like, I'm trying to find, like, see, this is a Griffey from '90, and there's still a ton of baseball players here. Some teams got more than others. Then there was '89. The little star shows you who's new players added. But some of the other ones, like football, this was '91 football. And there is not a ton of guys on here. Like '88 was a ton. There's not a ton here. So they kind of already got rid of some. Yeah, see, here's '92 baseball. And look how less there are compared to this. So I don't know if they're already kind of not selling as much, or they're just like, screw it. Why are we making figures of like, you get like 6 guys on some teams. It's like some of these people, they're not that known, But anyway, Isaiah, they all have different poses. They do stand. You can't see here, but they all stand fairly well. And these are 2 I picked up, well, in the past couple of years. Like this one, Dikembe Mutombo. I love the old Nuggets logo. You might be able to see the see a little piece of basketball there. Definitely cool. These ones some came with posters or coins, depending on the year. They always had cards in them. That's one of the center's poses. Pretty cool though. They're kind of detailed. Most of the guys did not really look like the players, but back then they did an alright job, I guess. Mutombo, and the last one, basketball. I did not have this figure when I was younger. This is a Terry Porter. This was 92. This was a 92 Mutombo. And this is a 93 Terry Porter. I was a Blazers fan, still am, but I was huge into them back then, and I never had a Terry Porter. I never had a Drexler either. I had a football. I mean, no, I had a decent amount of basketball. I had a lot of football and baseball ones. And I did have, I had Ewing, I believe. I might have had Drexler back then. I had the Isaiah, Bird, Magic. I don't think I had any Jordans. Then I had some later on, like 93, 94, like Barkley, Dominique Wilkins, Sean Elliott, Stacey Augmon, that I'd never opened, that I ended up selling like years later. Terry Porter, great shooter for Portland. He's a hell of a player, point guard. I'll just show the ones and the things too. The other one I need to open, this is from 93, Glen Rice. See, this one has 2 cards in it. And some of them you could buy this little hoop here, or they even came with it. Little dong pose. They had like double ones where it'd be like in basketball, it'd be like maybe Magic and Bird in the same boat, like 2 of them kind of one trying to block the other and shit like that. They had them in football. They had ones that came with like a little newspaper kind of article thing and a card, and it was a stand for the figure and stuff. They did some different things with the starting lineups. I think they bought, it was like 5 of them. It was a thing you could buy for each sport, and you could display. So, I mean, these are easy to display regardless of anywhere, but this was specific because I think it had slots where you could put the card into. But Glen Rice, great shooter. Started with the Heat, right? And then he ended up on Charlotte. He was on the Lakers. I think he won a title with the Lakers. You see, even here, they still had, they don't show all the guys here, but they, even like by the early 90s, they were cutting down a lot. You'd get maybe 19 or 20 guys in a series. But, Glen Rice for the Heat originally. Let's go to hockey. Teemu Selanne. This is 94. These are all recent except the one that I got recently. The hockey ones are cool too, especially the goalies. I don't have any goalies, but I see them and they have nice, kind of poses for the goalies. There's not a ton of hockey poses. A few of these are probably the same. Yeah, I mean, well, I have 3 different ones. Teemu Selanne, Winnipeg Jets. And this one I originally had 93. This is one in the inaugural year. Brett Hull. See, this one kind of looks like Brett Hull. The other one, it doesn't really look like Selanne. Like I said, hit or miss with these. You can only do. There's not a lot going on. This actually does look like kind of like Brett Hull, but he has the same pose too. Peter Bondra. When's this one? 97. So he's got a little bit of a different pose here. That's when the Capitals went to that jersey for a bit. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. One of my favorite players when I was younger, Doug Gilmour. This is a 94 as well. Same pose as Bondra. Maybe that looks a little. I'm trying to remember what some of these guys look like too. This one on the Maple Leafs. He was on a bunch of teams. I think he won a title with the Flames. I think he was on the Calgary Flames when they won in '89. I think he ended up on the Blackhawks. He might have been on the Blues, but I could be wrong. He bounced right. He was on the Flames for a little bit. Then he was on Toronto for a bit too. And the last one for hockey is Pavel Bure. This is a little bit different of a pose than these ones. If you can tell. They had a classic design. The skate, the Canucks. I like that logo. It's a cool looking figure too with this jersey and stuff, uniform they have. I think a lot of people are suckers for like the older uniforms and stuff. Not all of them, but certain ones. I also have a thing for like old arenas in all sports, like Shea Stadium. I like the looks of old arenas. It was the place they played. I think it was just the Vancouver Coliseum or something. Awesome. The Igloo the Penguins used to play at was cool as shit. It just had a cool look. Of course, eventually they have to build a new stadium. These places get run down. But they're just so classic. Nassau Coliseum was like that. The Islanders. Mile High Stadium in Denver. You still have some baseball, like the Dodgers, Red Sox. The Cubs have cool fields. They're like kind of, they tweak them kind of, but they're still what they were. Is it Kauffman Stadium that the Royals play in? I think that the one with, they have a cool stadium with the water fountains and shit. Or the, not the, like, I guess they are the fountains. But there's some other ones as well that I'm like, yeah, like where the Cavs used to play. I think it was Gundering or something. It was in such an interesting place because I think it was in Akron. I don't think it was in Cleveland. And if you like look at where this place used to be, and I think I don't know. I gotta look it up. Was it like, what was it called? I don't think LeBron would have played there. I think it was gone by then. I spell it wrong, and there's something actually, arena actually by that name. That's hilarious. I go put Cavs, and I put Cava, and that's an arena somewhere. Richfield Coliseum it was called. It was in Akron. All right, 75 to 94. LeBron didn't come close to playing there. But those good Cavs teams are playing there. But it was in such an odd spot. Like if you look at it, like on Google Maps, or not Google Maps, like old pictures where it was in such an interesting spot. Like it was in the middle of like a field. It was pretty strange, but anyway. Boy, I love those. The feel where the Spurs used to play too. Was it the Alamo Dome? Cool. I like that kind of stuff. I always have. I'll do the two baseball ones. They're both unopened. It's Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr. and Roberto Alomar. See, he was 92 when they have the poster there. Griffey just had 2 cards. This is my original Griffey. It's cracked. I need to just open this. The shell's cracked. I bought this for 50 US. It was 57 Canadian. I got it for 50 US. It was 1994. It was like right before 10th grade started. Went up to Canada and went to Toronto Hockey Hall of Fame. I talked about this before. And we stopped back by Niagara Falls, and there was a little kind of shop we went into. It was like almost like a little kind of flea market type thing, an arcade and stuff. And I grabbed this. My friend grabbed the Griffey too. I think it was his like 93 or 92 one. But pretty cool. He's sliding here. And you see you get the 2 cards. Let's get the players on the back. And Alomar, same pose. I love the old Blue Jays. We get the jersey here, the Blue Jays. Although I think they kind of look the same now. Yeah, see, I mean, you had just Howard Johnson on the Mets. McGriff, Tony Gwynn on the Padres. John Kruk on the Phillies. Albert Bell on the Indians, so that was his first one. Greg Vaughn, Brewers, Kevin Moss on the Yankees. He didn't pan out. Cecil Fielder on Detroit. See, the Rangers had 3 guys. The A's had 3 guys. Cat is playing on the Dodgers had 3 guys. How many did the Yankees have? Oh, the Yankees just had 1. As opposed to like this one where it's like the Cubs have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes. And this is from 90. They had 8 guys. So they were still pumping out a lot of these ones. 7 for the Red Sox. The Canadian teams get a guy apiece. The Blue Jays get McGriff. The Expos get Andres Galarraga. I don't know if the Blue Jays got more guys as they won those back-to-back titles or not. 7 for the A's. 5 for the Pirates. How many for the 1, 2, 3? 9 for the Mets. The Mets were just about to start sucking. They might have actually, I don't know if they sucked in 90, but they were good throughout the 80s. They won the World Series and they lost to the Dodgers in 7 games in 88 in the NLCS. And they had some winning records. That back then, only 2 teams made the playoffs in baseball. They had to eventually change it because I think it was the Braves. It was like 93 maybe or 94. It might have been the first year Bonds was on the Giants. The Giants had like 103 wins and lost the division to the Braves by like a game. It's like, dude. They're probably like, dude, we gotta change this. This is nuts. But, back then you could have 95 wins and have a good season, but you missed the playoffs, So there was good teams. It's just only 2 teams made it, so. But anyway, a lot of teams had a lot of dudes here. These names, man: Willie Randolph, Earl Hershiser, Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, there's Tom Glavine, Andre Dawson, Ryan Sandberg, Ruben Sierra, Palmero, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken, Robin Yount, Joe Carter when he was on the Indians still, Wally Joyner on the Angels, California Angels at the time. See, the Yankees here have 7 dudes: Mattingly, Winfield, Righetti, Sachs, Mello, Roberto Kelly, Barfield, Tartabull, George Brett, Bo Jackson. Anyway, those are the baseball ones. I do want to get more of these. I go on a little thing where I buy a few of these at a time, like 3 or 4 in a quick set of time, because they're cheap. You can get a lot of them for under like $12 new. Like I said, there are Jordans can be expensive. Some of those older ones from the '88 one, not as much baseball, but football and basketball ones from that year. Some of them are expensive. Some are not worth much of anything. But like Jordan, Chuck Person, I think like a lot of the random dudes that just had the one made for that year, and that was it. Those get pretty pricey, sealed. Like they'll be a couple $100. Let's go to the football one. I got Jake Plummer here, Cardinals. The football ones are cool because you got the helmets. This is Plummer. I like Plummer. I didn't mind him. I wasn't paying attention much when he was on the Cardinals, but then he came to Denver, and I really liked him. I always liked him, and now he's growing mushrooms, I believe. And he still lives. He lives in Colorado. But the football ones had pretty cool poses, and you could be like, "Oh, check this out! Whoa!" They do move. The other ones do as well. Oh, the hockey ones don't have much of any movement to them. And the next 3 football ones are all Terrell Davis's. These 2 are part of a 2-pack. They did these 2-packs too in all the sports. The college one and then their NFL one. So this is him on Georgia. Davis. This is a classic running back pose. A lot of them had back then. A couple. Elway has one. Stanford and Denver. Marino has one. Where'd he go? Pittsburgh and the Dolphins. I think Joe Montana had one, maybe. I can't remember where he went to college. There's some other, and they would make older dudes too, like Terry Bradshaw. All the sports had like older guys. And they called them like, I think the Cooperstown Collection was the baseball one. Legends, a lot of them were just called Legends ones. What was this one? This is 99. These are older ones. These are more towards the end because Terrell Davis probably got his first one in like 96 or even 97. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool pose. With the Broncos, the newer Broncos helmet. I need to get an Elway or a Bronco with the old Broncos helmet. These 2, and this is 97, I believe. No, this is 98. So this might have been, no, I feel like he had one in 97. He might even have one in 96. He might have one in 2002. He got hurt in 99, and then he came back in 2000. Got hurt again. Then he played like 8 games, and I think 01 maybe. Played half the season, got hurt again. He had a pretty good year. He played 8 games, had 701 yards in the 8 games. But I think he just got hurt again. It was like, there's no point. He tore his knee like 5 times in like 3 years. It sucked. He got hurt on I was watching the game too, it was on TV. Brian Greasy threw a pick, and he went to make a tackle, and done. And he was not doing, he played 4 games, or 3.5, whatever. He wasn't doing well because literally the defense would just stack the line to stop him. But another Terrell Davis. Pretty cool pose there as well. And the last one, this is one I had when I was younger. 91, you get the coin. It's Warren Moon. I love this figure, the old Oilers logo, their jersey. God, I liked Warren Moon. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks back then. He was mostly Elway, but I liked other ones like Warren Moon. Marino was cool. Randall Cunningham was awesome. I'm trying to think. Are there any other quarterbacks I really paid attention to? Maybe not. I did like Warren Moon, though. I like that one. So I gotta bust this one open. Like, this one was pretty cheap. This was under $15, I believe. See, not a ton. Some players like the Giants got 4 dudes: David Meggett, Carl Banks, Phil Simms, and Rodney Hampton. Bears got 4: Neil Anderson, Jim Harbaugh, The Fridge, and Mark Carrier. Not even every team has a guy. Although it's weird, maybe because it's just Bobby Humphrey on the Broncos. I feel like Elway had one almost every year. I could be wrong though. Bo Jackson on the Raiders, Thurman Thomas on the Bills. Obviously Warren Moon here. Oh, it's classic looking at this stuff. Oh, here you go. Headline collection. See, it's Bo, a little newspaper thing, and he's got a little stand there and stuff. Who's that? Oh, this Herschel Walker. I guess it was when the Cowboys traded him to the Vikings for like 50 dudes. And that was Jimmy Johnson, I believe. So those were cool. Do these have anything on the back? No, that one didn't. No. And that just showed the one thing. But yeah, I like these figures. It's nostalgic. I just like them because that's, when I was super into sports, it was throughout the 90s. Like, I just got into basketball when I was in 7th grade, 91, 92. But football I liked for a couple of years before that. Hockey, since like 87, 88 was my first Islander game. And baseball I liked for a while too, growing up. That's probably the one I liked for the longest at the time. And then I started going to Yankee games in like 92, 93. I went to a bunch. Through like 95 and then just stopped. Went to a few here and there. I did go to a lot of Met games too when I was younger. Because Shea Stadium's closer than Yankee Stadium. But I just liked going to the games back then. So I was to Shea Stadium a lot and Yankee Stadium. Well, not the original. I don't know what Yankee Stadium was at that point, but that one a bunch. And I saw the Broncos play against the Bills in Buffalo. It was the 95 season. They lost, but it was a tight game and they made a comeback. But they were like at the 10, incomplete pass, and we were in that end zone. The fans were all nice and stuff. That was cool. And I got to see the Blazers play against the Nets. I went to like 4 or 5 Nets games back then. Back between like 93 and 95. I didn't get to see Drexler play. He got traded. I think he got traded like not too long before. Because he got traded in 95. I'm pretty sure that's when we went. Because it would have been after he got traded. Because he was not playing. And I remember Otis Thorpe was on the team. That's who he got traded for. So it would have been later in the 94-95 season. So I got to see all my favorite teams play. That's cool. But anyway. Just a starting lineup collection show and tell here. I'll probably pick up more of these. Like I said, I go through little spurts of picking them up. Because they're cheap. And I can find them in the thrift stores and stuff, or the antique places, for fairly cheap as well if I want to grab any there. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.